Welcome to BCB Live. Yes, we are that safest station in the nation.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive safe, Dave, here on a beautiful Wednesday morning right here in Mansfield, Texas, at the BCB Live studios. Coming from you, we've got an audience out here, we got an audience back there, and we got an audience right there with you here on BCB. And you know what? We're making it happen, and we're talking a little bit about safety today. But first of all, I want to start off today with a little thing with our first story today, and that is they just cleared yesterday the wreckage on highway near New Orleans. 7 people killed in what looked like a huge fog event. And I'm telling you, collided. I think there was over 50 automobiles involved in this accident. 7 people killed, and it was just look at the carnage. Look at the absolute carnage that entailed here. One of the vehicles went over off of the bridge and fell into the water below. That person was able to survive. However, there were several people trapped in the wreckage, and there was immediately and almost always a fire that ensued shortly thereafter once a deal. But a very tragic scene that happened, and they believe it was all based on the fog that occurred. It just came out of nowhere. They were on the bridge, and it was a thick fog. It went from decent visibility or somewhat limited visibility down to less than 10 feet. And when you're traveling at some speed and you can't see 10 feet, you don't know what to do. And the person in front of you panics and hits the brakes or gets involved in a wreck, then all of a sudden it's just one right after the other. Everybody's hitting. And you've been driving this same way to work every day, right? You go the same way. You do it every single day. You're on the same path. You kind of know the routine. You kind of know the speed. You kind of know how everybody drives. And you basically start following too close. If you can't stop before you hit something in front of you, you're going too fast. If you are not able to come to a complete stop before you hit something in front of you, you're going too fast. And when visibility limits itself to 10 feet, you better be going so fast that you can stop within 10 feet. And you and I both know that right then and there is when you need to come to a complete shut her down completely and roll forward slowly and put your hazards on and make sure everybody sees that you're going slower. But I'm telling you, if you can't stop, you're not doing it right. You have to slow down. You have to make sure that you can control that distance in front of your vehicle. That concrete in front of you and the thing in front of it is your responsibility. That distance is your responsibility always, every time. And this is one of those tragic scenes that we have throughout the year. Sometimes it's because of a blizzard. Sometimes it's because of fog. Sometimes it's because of smoke. Well, whatever it is, it's usually based on the idea that no one can see anymore and they can't stop. No one can see anymore and they can't stop. There is nothing more challenging and nothing more scary than not being able to see where you're going and not being able to see what you're doing. I'm telling you right now, in driving a vehicle and all of a sudden you get blinded and you're driving down the road, that is about the scariest thing, whether it's smoke, fog, snow, any of these things that can blind you and make it difficult. I'm telling you right now, it is absolutely one of the most scariest things. Even when your lights go out, it can be absolutely scary. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here in just a second on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
There's several things around our core values that I'm very proud of. They are truly what guides our business. The very first one is we act with honesty and integrity in everything that we do. I'm very proud of that fact. I work for an organization that what our actions and the way we structure our business and the choices that we make, we act with integrity.
All right, and we are back here on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive safe, Dave, here with you. Hey, there's an interesting story that came out today It's Cruise, which is that driverless card carrying Uber or Lyft or what have you, much being operated in California. California stated yesterday that cease and desist the operation of Cruise without a driver behind the wheel. There was a couple of instances, one where it collided with an emergency vehicle and another one where it ran over a pedestrian. And because of this, the safety measures involved have basically said cease and desist operations without a driver. If you have a safety driver there, then you can use the vehicle, but you are no longer allowed to operate without a driver. And there is some push going on in California because of this. And you know what? I'm okay with people challenging the rules and the safety ideology, because remember, a lot of the times that is considered technology and is not allowed to be seen. And I don't necessarily agree with it when it comes to safety. I think safety takes precedence over anything that has anything to do with this kind of stuff. You should be able to look at some technologies within a certain parameter to see what is safe and what is not safe to the community. They should have to release some of this data and this information. So because of it, California says no mas, no more of what's happening. All right, and then we have for our next story, we have proper tire inflation. All right. So here it is. This is kind of a good topic that I wanted to talk about with everybody because it really makes a difference. You know, we talk about tires, and one of the largest expenses that any trucking company is going to have, or any truck driver is going to have, or anybody's going to have is tires. It's going to be a huge expense, and how you use them and how you use this very important tool is necessary to how well you're going to be successful with your company. If you don't take care of your tires, they won't take care of you. I can assure you that. So let's first of all, let's do a little physics lesson. I'm going to set this down really quick so that I can have my hands free. All right, I'm back on the screen. Here we go. I'm back. So first of all, tires are made of a rubber, and then the road is a hard surface. They are designed to grip and create friction. And anytime you create friction, you're going to lose wear on the rubber. You don't lose wear on the road, you lose wear on the rubber. And it slowly erodes over time that outer layer to that rubber tire. All right, but you want that friction there. You need that friction there. That friction there is necessary in order for you to maintain control of the vehicle. We all know what it looks like when you get on a wet surface or a frozen surface with a vehicle and you want to turn, you want to stop, or what have you. That's when friction isn't there. But the rubber is designed to create heavy friction. And because it creates friction, it creates heat. And it also creates an ability to change direction. You cannot change direction or stop without that. Now, herein lies the rub. Proper tire inflation is everything, not only from safety, we'll get to that in a minute, but it also is economics. First of all, when you don't have proper tire inflation on a tire, the tire itself will be, let's just say it's low. What happens is you have a greater surface on the road. When you have so many pounds per square inch, what that truly means is that only per square inch is at that tire inflation is what's going to be touching the road. That is actually how it works. You could actually take a piece of paper, draw a line with it around where the tire touches, and you could tell how many, if you knew the weight of the vehicle, you would know how many pounds per square inch is in on that tire. That is true, and I'm telling you that's how it works. But if you don't have the proper tire inflation, what tends to happen is if it's especially underinflated tires, it's more surface area is exposed to the road. The tire isn't in its optimal running shape. So therefore, not only that, and it starts to heat up. And when tires heat up like this in an improper way, they degrade quickly. They start to degrade in an improper way. They start to lose more of that rubber that touches the road. They start to break down on the sidewalls and in the structure of the tire, and therefore is more susceptible to blowouts and flats. And because of that, it creates a very dangerous and unsafe environment. Also, that tire won't last near as long as if it doesn't have the proper inflation. that tire won't last as long, which means you have to replace it more. And when you have to replace 18 tires more often than you should over a certain amount of time, you have to pay more money. So your maintenance costs go up per tire. It costs you more money. And all of these things are very important in just something so simple as proper tire inflation. Now, I will tell you, as we talk about proper tire inflation, it is necessary that you check it all the time. Now, there are a lot of tire inflation. There are a lot of sensors now that give you these tire pressure sensor monitors that are in these vehicles. Very important, very important. It lets you know immediately when the tire is not properly inflated. Can it be frustrating sometimes when the sensor is not working correctly? Absolutely. But I will tell you it's necessary to understand that when a tire is inflated correctly and that a tire is being used correctly, it creates less friction on the road. It creates less downgrade of the tire on the road. It doesn't heat up as much as it does if it wasn't running properly. The tire is in optimal performance. That means it's getting exactly what it needs to be on the road, and it also is getting the right pressure done while it's driving. And what that means for you is you're going to save money, because if you have less friction, you have more roll. They even have friction-resistant tires, roll-resistant tires. You're going to save more money. In fact, they are saying you can have at least a 1 to 1.5% fuel savings by just proper inflation. Now you're saying 1.5%. But if you can imagine the amount of dollars that you spend that go into the fuel tank, and you can save that consistently over time on tires, on fuel, on economy, and let me tell you, you actually help protect the environment as well, because those discarded tires make it difficult. They have to be processed and all of that stuff. So it does leave a huge carbon footprint on the use of tires. And I know we sit here and talk about it, and you're going, man, Dave's talking a lot about just tires on the road. But I'm telling you, this is really where the rubber meets the road for every driver out there, every trucking company out there, every person involved in maintenance, every person that is involved in operations, everybody that's involved out there must understand how important it is that you have proper tire inflation. Something so simple as a tire pressure gauge and a tread depth gauge, two very simple tools that you can have in your toolbox, will basically give you huge dividends in the long run, because you take care of your tires and the rubber on the road. You want to be a safer, a better, and a more complete driver by keeping those things for yourself and understanding just how important these things are when you're out there. And if you're a driver and you're talking and you're listening today, and while you're doing your pre-trip and you just go out there and you thump tires, I'm telling you, take a closer look at what you're looking at. Appreciate a little bit more, just a little tad bit more about that rubber that meets the road under your truck. And understand just how vitally important that friction necessary, just the right amount, will make you a little bit more successful, a little bit safer, a little bit more economical, a little bit better driver. And I'm going to tell you, a properly inflated tire while you're driving down the road is a much easier drive. A much easier drive for you as the driver. And if you're a trucking company, or if you're a maintenance guy, or what have you, you've got to understand how important it is that you have lessons that you talk about, and that you can continue to communicate about tire pressure. It is a lot going on out there, believe me, underneath those trucks. It is very, very important that you talk about, communicate, and do that. All right, let's do the weather real quick. As you can see, we've got some rain in the south. It is much needed, and it is much appreciated. It is remnants. Look at this. Look at this going up here in the north. Is that snowflakes that I see going on up there? Woo! Look at this in Billings, Montana. Got us a little bit of snow going on up there. It is going to move east, and as these two storm systems move out towards later in the week, as they start to move up, it does continue to create some wet and much needed environment. But remember, some of your first snows this spring are out here. This fall are out here. Pay attention to what's going on. Understand that people aren't used to it. Understand what's going on out there. Make sure that you're looking at where you're going, knowing that you're pre-planning your trip and that you're prepared for whatever weather event you have out there on the road each and every day. It is what we do here. It is what we talk about here. And it is BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. All right, we're going to go to your regular programming right after this.